today's session where we go over one of my clients' calendar systems and how she came to me when she was like extremely drained out, and she was not even sure what she wanted with her business. Although she has been in her private practice, she is a health and wellness coach who has had a successful in-person center. She has had, like, I think so far about two centers so far. So we're talking about my client called Stephanie, who came to me, and she all that she told me was, my calendar is full, I am booked out, but still I am feeling extremely frustrated, extremely exhausted most of the times, because I have no idea. I have a business, I have a thriving business, but still I'm not sure what would make me really happy. There has to be some change that needs to be done. Some logic isn't matching. I need something that really makes sense for me. So that was a pretty new situation when, my client came to me and she was telling me about all of this. And that's when I figured something totally new. And that's exactly what I'll be talking to you in this video. I know that a lot of you have go high level systems, and a lot of you have calendars that are pretty much open all day. And I used to do the mistake, as somebody who builds funnels and automations, which are basically revenue systems for my clients. I am all in for my clients, like most of the times when my clients need something, I'm there to get it done for them. And I just don't hesitate, I just don't see the time, I just don't care about what's going on. I get things done. But this was the exact same mistake I was doing in my business, where I kept my calendar wide open. And I'm going to show you exactly the problem that my client had, although she had a thriving business, and the changes that we did to make sure to get her to extremely exhausted, burnt out, to exactly what she needs to be doing. And she did, for her to bag her first $10,000 with her online course or program, because she wanted to convert her entire consulting practice into an online program. So before I begin, let me start sharing my screen. All right. So before I tell you anything, right, one thing I always think is that the way we as human beings think a calendar works, or the way we think a calendar should function, is very different from how it should actually function, right? So we just think a calendar is there. It's supposed to collect, people. It's supposed to show people that you're wide open. But one thing that I saw after being in business for, 3 years now, but I've been in business for three and a half. But towards the end of um, 2024, I realized that having a white calendar actually gave my clients take more advantage of my time. And similarly, this is exactly what my clients saw. So the problem was that although her calendar was completely full, as you see here, she had sticky notes going on everywhere, everything was full, but still nothing was moving. Time was blocked. She knew what exactly she wanted in her business. She had people come in. She had people ask her all sorts of questions, all sorts of logic. They took notes. They never bought. And I have this exact same problem in my business. And that's when I realized that there were things that she had in her business, which was, most of the time you probably have a leads problem. And but she, on the other hand, had a lot of leads, but she did not have the energy to do her business. She no longer was excited to do a lot of stuff in her business. So nothing was actually moving. She felt stuck, she felt trapped. And this was the major problem when she came to me, right? What we did here is that every time people came to her from all of this was the simplest tweak that I told her to do. Every time people came to her, we actually separated her calendars, which was the first thing, which is, you have a calendar, you have a simple single calendar for so many of the things that people come to. But what we did was, we actually told her to segment a lot of these calendars, which means you have a calendar for people booking actual paid calls with you. We had people have free strategy sessions with you. We had people who came in through a webinar do a different sort of a consultation. So the tracking system, first of all, was something that we improved, right? The second thing that we did here was that she had a quiz through which she sent people inside, and also she had a webinar which actually kept selling her $997 program, and also a $1,500 program which they also get a one-on-one call with. So that is where I started tweaking, because she was anyways welcoming people to talk to her. The tweak that we tested for a couple of months, exactly for 60 days, is that she still ran her webinar, she still offered people the quiz, but what happens after that is what changed. So when people took the quiz, and she had a calendar which is, hey, just book a call with me, what we did, instead of giving people the free calls, was we gave people a $97 strategy call, as you see here. So the free session became a paid session. You will be surprised. You would think that people would have opted out, but that's exactly what we wanted for her business. Her calendar was constantly full. As you see here, her calendar was booked out. She was consistently full. She was consistently overwhelmed. When I tried to call her to set up her funnels, all she would say is, I'm on a call. I'm so busy. I don't think I have the time to talk to you right now. But when I called her at the end of the day to check in, as a friend, just to know what's going on with her business, because she was consistently behind on approvals and stuff, all she would tell me is, I am tired. There are so many things that I just have to do. I could not get done. And at the end of the day, how many clients did you close? It was probably zero for the most of the part, right? So that was a tweak that I realized she needed. So anytime people came, we created a beautiful long sales page for her, which spoke about the problem that people had and how her one on one call could actually solve the problem for her. And that is where the shift happened. We had very few calls booked on her calendar, which is exactly what we wanted. And we included a $97 price tag. Now, the reason why we did this, the logic is pretty simple. We wanted fewer people to show up, but we wanted more quality leads who were interested in talking to her to show up. The reason why, again, this worked for her is because we saw that the amount of people who came in through these paid calls had better questions and did not just want to pick her brain, asking the same old questions, but they had a fewer different higher concerns which her product could actually solve. So the shift was really powerful. The shift was something that we have not seen anywhere with, like any of our clients before, but we did not remove access to anything. We, in fact, just introduced a system which is a paid call booking system. People could come to her, do the exact same thing, a 45-minute consultation, as you see here. Earlier, it was a 30-minute call, but it still landed nowhere. But these people who came in knew that they were 97, that 45-minute is the mark that, they had to get things done. They had a lot more structured questions and structured information, and they, in fact, the way they came in with pen and paper and taking notes and actually trying to do a deposit to work with her on the call actually got her to $10,000 during her first launch, exactly after the 60 days. And the results were insane. And this was not through ads, this was just through her organic traffic, because she did have good following on Instagram, she did have good following on TikTok, and all of that, right? This simple shift actually rewired her audience's brain, rewired my client's brain, because they knew that they had to invest in something first, right? So the second thing that we did here, this was through the quiz funnel, right? So they completed the quiz and then they came inside to this call. This is the exact same thing we did, because her webinars did nothing to her business. She could not sell her 997 because, of course, the messaging was a little off, which we fixed. But one thing, even after spending so much money on ads, I'm talking about thousands of dollars on ads with another ad agency, she was not able to bring results in. So, one of the other things that we tried here, which was exactly the same, like I mentioned, we did not change anything or add anything new. We just tweaked with what she had, which is often, as a marketing consultant, that's exactly what I do. I don't scratch things off, right? Because it adds more work to me, it adds more work to you, and you're sometimes very scared of changing your systems, and that's just the last thing that you want to do, because I know it brings down the confidence of my clients. So I'm here to actually increase their confidence and make their lives simple. So all we did with this paid call logic was to basically anybody who comes to her webinar was not pitched the $997 program anymore. Instead, we gave them a quick win, which is to get inside this $97 call. Again, they were asked to, do the right sort of questions. They were asked to take notes, and they were asked to, given just this 45 minutes. So we got them to secure their spot. So her hard sell during the webinar was not the program itself. Her hard sell during the webinar was this $97 call. All she had to do was she gave them, as soon as they completed the call for the backend logic, after they completed the payment right during the webinar, they secured their spot. She would tell people, hey, welcome, all of that. But we had a thank you page, which had a beautiful VSL, which had the calendar link so they could find a date that works for them as soon as they completed the payment. And they had to upload a few different medical forms, because she could take a look and, give all of the information during the call. She had the option to start getting calls, and she booked 5 calls during her initial webinar. It was a live webinar. We then automated it, and the system still runs the same way. And just adding these 5 calls, because people were pretty cold, most of her audiences were cold because she did not use the retargeting strategy that I spoke about yesterday. Go back and take a look at that, because always leverage your existing audiences. And if you want to amplify it with ads, we start with retargeting ads. Obviously, that's what I do. But we added this paid call option during the webinar, which got her 5 sales. So pretty much about, close to $450 to $500 during her first webinar. And we did not sell the 997 until they got on the call. She would diagnose them for 45 minutes, give them the best of the results that she did, because my goal was to send them to the call. And during the call, it was her goal to actually, start selling them the 997 or the 1500. And because they have already invested in her, they're actually seeing the results with her. During the call, there was a higher percentage of people closing things for her. She's at, I think, 20K months right now. And this is the exact strategy that we do for her. We did just one little tweak. From going, from the free call, we took people to a paid strategy session, which rewired the way people thought about her business. They knew that after being in business for 25 plus years, they could not prick her brain for free anymore. So, which changed the logic of the people who were talking to her, which is to ask better questions, which is to actually concentrate, focus, and know that this 45 minutes is the max they need to make sense of this 45 minutes, right? We will be testing out probably a refund strategy or something in the future when sales dull down for her. But for now, this is what exactly is working right now. So, one takeaway I have for you from this particular session is not to treat your calendar as an admin tool. Don't keep it wide open for everybody, because scarcity sells. And as you see, going from a chaotic calendar to actually having a $97 call. And in fact, she was afraid of losing the potential clients that she would speak to. But in fact, it was the opposite that actually she needed for her business to showcase her as an expert, which is for people to invest so so they could ask her better questions and they could actually invest in her programs. So, as always, if your calendar feels full, but if it feels unproductive and you know that nothing is moving the needle forward, you just have to tone things down, take a step back, see what's working, what's not, analyze, and know that it's not a visibility issue, but it's actually a systems issue. And it's actually a filtering issue, because you get to know who it is that you're bringing into your business and who is actually not working well. And then you start nurturing your audiences. So come back for tomorrow, Monday, because I will be talking to you all about how you can nurture these people that you bring inside your business. So even if they are brand new, they would know exactly what to do in your business and how to, do things the right way.